broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time After Show. Oh man, I'm just so excited. We have a full panel here tonight. Yay. We're all here. Yay! It's season 4, episode 21, Mother. And Mama came in and did some things.
Lots of mothers.
Lots of mothers around.
Multiple.
Yes. I'm Tiona Hobson, and joining me tonight, I have my lovely co-host.
Hey, Kaori Takee here. You guys can tweet me at KORIOUS.
And I am Blake McIver. You can tweet me at Blake McIver.
And I'm Marisa Serafini. You can follow me at Serafini TV.
And Marissa's also in our chat roll right now, so if you're listening to us on iTunes, make sure you check out us live on YouTube, because we do that now. And it's so much fun, and you can type in and chat with Marissa live on our show. It's great. Also, if you're tweeting, make sure you use the hashtag ABTVOnce, and that way we will see all of the lovely things you have to say. So let's jump right into it, because we got someone coming back tonight that I know Marissa was really excited about.
Excited.
Yes. Cora is back.
Yeah, she is.
She's amazing.
Yay.
Barbara Hershey.
Barbara Hershey.
Yeah.
I mean, just
God love her.
round of applause for her, because just in that. So, I mean, we see her in a flashback, of course, because in our present time she's dead, but we can always depend on the good old-fashioned flashbacks. So in this flashback, it is the anniversary of Daniel's death, who was Regina's, the love of her life, that stable boy. That stable boy.
Yeah,
it's always the rough and rugged
always
stable
boy.
right?
True life.
True life. I'm in love with the stable boy.
We all had a moment there.
Yeah, I know. We were like, I understand this feeling.
Yeah.
So Regina, or the evil queen, is going around the land. She's not in a good mood. We see her ruin someone's wedding because it's happening on royal property. And she's like, oh, yeah, well, I don't remember giving you permission. Yanks out the groom's heart. And then, crumbles it into ash in front of his bride.
It's bad enough she crashed the wedding. Kill the groom?
Yeah.
She was in a bad mood.
She was not
She
happy.
was scorned. She was bitter and scorned. But and I think the whole rule that was, you're on royal property, that was totally arbitrary. It was like, no, she was just bitter.
Yeah, just mad.
Yeah.
And I love that we also got to see, Henry, her father, was around too for a second tonight. And we see him sort of like, hey, are you sure you're not overreacting because of something else, of what the day is? And she's like, no, I'm fine. Then she makes him walk home because she wants to go visit Daniel's grave, where there's a yellow rose, and she knows that her mother is there. Now, Cora, the last time we had seen her here, had been pushed through the looking glass and sent off to Wonderland.
Right.
So the big question is, what are you doing here? How'd you get back? And she's like, oh, I used to rabbit.
Oh, silly rabbit.
Well, the rabbit, as we know, can travel from realms and cross those portals. So, yeah, that was totally believable.
Yeah, so she's back, and she says she's here to she's learned her lessons, and she wants a relationship with her daughter. How much of that did you guys believe?
I think she definitely wants a relationship with her daughter, but for the use of good or bad or selfish reasons is a different story, Cora is...
I don't think so. I think Cora's pure evil.
Yeah.
I think this was all a ploy.
She wants a relationship with her daughter, but it's a means to end for herself, like to utilize her
get
daughter.
power.
Yeah. I think Cora is just another villain that's she has no redemptive qualities. She's just straight up evil.
Bad.
Yeah, she's
bad
pretty
to the
bad.
bone.
Like, and to see her try to have a happy ending would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be
tricky.
What would that be?
Her happy ending. I'm curious.
Yeah,
But
I
she's
don't
just
know.
straight up evil.
Yeah.
But she does say that she's there because she wants to help her daughter find love. She ran into Tinkerbell. somewhere because Tink was probably in Wonderland or
I
something.
love that little aside. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I talked to Tink.
Yeah, I talked to Tink. We're
She knows,
homies.
she knows who you need.
Yeah. And Tinkerbell told her about the soulmate that Regina has out there with the lion tattoo, which we all know is Robin Hood, but she doesn't know that yet. So Cora goes off to find Robin Hood for Regina and bring him back for her daughter to have love and happiness in her life. And then she makes it to the local bar and finds...
I just loved it. It's just like, pick up a guy at the local tavern. Like,
And let's just say that Mama had it going on because the sheriff of Nottingham was like, hey, lady, like trying to pick her up.
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
And it was like,
Maybe she's just a
here.
player.
Nottingham was
knows?
thirsty.
He was.
You wanted a one-night stand or to rule the kingdom, so.
But he was feeling him some Mama Cora.
He was
so.
Uh-huh.
Mama's got some swag.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, she
yeah,
does. She
Look at her
can wear a
just
gown.
walk into that.
Sashay into that tavern.
So he tells her all about how Robin Hood is a bad guy and that he's married now from what he's heard. And so Cora gets this great idea that she'll just kind of dress him up as the guy because Regina never saw his face.
Right.
So she puts the lion tattoo on him
So fake.
and brings him back to the palace. And I love that before she brings him in, she, gussies up her daughter.
Yeah.
It's kind of a Cinderella moment, with the
It
fairy
was.
godmother changing her dress, going from the darkness to like something super light and pretty and
Pure.
Exactly.
I did like the little moment where she was like, oh, I forgot I love this color.
I was like, oh, everything is so black, but now it's white and happy. That sounded racist in my mind for some reason. But anyways,
It wasn't racist.
you know how when like off topic it could have sounded weird.
Out of context.
Yeah, out of
It's all right,
context.
we're a pretty diverse panel.
Yeah, we are.
So
So.
I'm the only one bringing the light.
So then, as they're talking, the sheriff of Nottingham turns into the biggest douche in the world, right?
He's been a douche since.
Yeah, no.
He's always
Yeah.
been a douche, but he was kind of like, stable boy. Glad you've moved up in your life.
He was like saying
Yeah.
all the wrong things to reveal himself, pretty much.
Terrible first date. It was just.
You're supposed to be connecting with this person as their soulmate, and you think it's okay to make fun of her for being in love with the stable boy when she was younger?
Nodding.
That's not the way it
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. I'm so sorry.
Wow. That was good.
That was great.
Sorry.
Not the way to
back to
win
topic.
Regina's heart, though.
No, not at all. So it clearly is, Regina's like, okay, something's up. I love that she got his lion tattoo to turn into an actual like baby miniature lion that was so
It was cute. I thought that
so cute.
Until he started biting his neck.
I mean, if you're in control of the lion, I could see it being like so
A nice pet.
Yeah, a nice little pet.
There you go.
Like, oh. But yeah, the lion starts biting him to get information out of him because Regina knows that it's Cora who put him up to this, but she doesn't know why. And eventually it's revealed that he was supposed to knock her up, basically, because her mother wants her to have children. And then the bigger question becomes why. Cora gave away one of her children, was horrible to the other one and killed the man that she loved, took away her happiness and turned her into an evil person. Why does she now want her daughter to have children of her own? You're not going to be a great grandma.
No.
No.
This is not going to be like fun weekend at grandma's house.
There's probably selfish intentions, obviously.
Yeah.
I think so. And I think it's just Cora being evil. If Regina did get pregnant, that would be a whole nother story and more plans from Cora that we would see. But since that didn't happen, I think they would have fleshed that story out.
Yeah,
a
the
little
only thing
bit
I could
more.
think about is that she wants to groom the, unborn child to become evil with her, or like be more of a listener than Regina was, because Regina completely rebelled against her.
Yeah.
But these are things that didn't happen.
It didn't happen because Regina made sure that they wouldn't happen
Mm-hmm.
because Home Chickie takes a potion that's going to prevent her from ever having children. This is the first
barren.
we're hearing about
It's
this.
a big commitment.
It's a really sad.
sad.
That shows how much she does not want her mother to be happy, considering.
And especially because she said, this is going to hurt me, but it's going to hurt you more. But I think that in the end, you kind of see that it doesn't really hurt Cora more. Cora, I don't know, by the end of that last scene with Cora, part of me felt that she did have ulterior motives, but that she also did want her daughter to find some happiness. You know, she had been off in Wonderland by herself for a while and probably had a chance to mellow out a little bit and really think and reflect on her life as a mother. She told Regina earlier, I was okay with a loveless marriage. I thought you would be too.
Right.
But
your heart works differently than mine.
yes, exactly.
And it answers the question that I think a lot of audience people are thinking, like, can Regina have a baby? Is having a baby one of Regina's happy endings? And obviously that's not. But we also, not to jump too far ahead, we do see her say the line, like, I already have a child. I am happy, you know?
Right.
So I was like, okay, there are workarounds to, yeah, she might have given up a happy ending for that particular storyline back in the day, but she can still, in a way, get a happy ending to resolve it.
Yeah, and I think one of the other underlining tones from this, too, was that Cora said to her that only Regina is standing in the way of her own happiness and her own happy ending. And I think that's something that is true for a lot of the villains.
And really in the heroes, too.
Yeah,
like,
the
that's
heroes,
kind of the
too.
moral.
It's
It's
the
like, you're the
moral.
only one that stands in the way of
Yeah.
your happy ending.
Everyone wants to blame someone else for their problems, and it's easier to find a scapegoat as opposed to just being like, hey, you know what? Here's the things I have going on in my life that are great. Here's the things that aren't. I'm the common denominator in the things that don't work out so good, so maybe I'm the problem.
Yeah.
It was a very Freudian, Jungian sort of
And it came-
moral episode, but we'll get to that
Yeah,
later.
but and like most of it came from Cora, which is why I was like, wait a second, I'm supposed to hate you.
Yeah.
But
I know this is really
some
inappropriate.
knowledge.
I really needed a restroom, so I'll be back. Probably first in history. I know. I was like trying to hold him, like, but I'll be back.
All right.
This might be a first.
After these messages, she'll be right back.
Right back. All right. Well, in the meantime, speaking of Regina, back in present day, her and Robin Hood having a talk at the bar, talking about everything that's happened and if they can still make it work with them with Zelena in the way.
And the child.
Child.
I'm just going to defer to Marissa on all things Outlaw Queen.
Okay. I'm sorry, repeat that because I was reading the comments in the YouTube. But Outlaw Queen, yes. You
Outlaw
have my
Queen.
attention
See,
now.
it-
So their conversation,
the conversation
at the bar.
towards the beginning of the episode.
Oh.
When they were trying to figure out, you know, kind of
How are they gonna
how they
proceed?
proceed.
Okay, I felt for Regina. I was like, how awkward was that conversation too?
Totally.
But it shows that they are like willing to, like, yes, it's crappy now, but they're so in love with each other that they're willing to work through it and like, okay, what do we do? How do we be together? What steps do we have to take to move around these obstacles? So I was like, yes, mature relationship. Love it.
I loved it too, and I love that
sweet.
I love that she told him that she'd make a forgetting potion for Roland so that, you know, he just doesn't remember his mom coming back into the picture. Because I'm glad that they pointed out the fact that Roland is also going to be affected by this
Yep.
because
Yeah.
his mother went from dead for forever to having Regina in his life to his mother coming back and being a part of his life to his mother not being his
to
mother
being dead again.
Right.
and then
No.
being dead again.
That's
so,
too much.
And he's
Yeah,
only
it's-
like 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
And
a little much.
I think it's definitely justifiable to have a forgetting potion for. Sorry, he is a kid, but you know it's more tolerable, I guess, to have a little boy who probably wouldn't remember it anyways.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, so sad because that's a lot for a kid, and it'd be very confusing to have to explain it. So I totally understand the potion for Roland, and I'm okay with that. But they're also taking everyone to Storybrooke. So in Storybrooke, she locks away Zelena.
And back in that mental
ward of the
ward.
hospital.
Your temporary home.
Yes, I love that. And then she's on a mission because she's like, I need this author. So she goes after Gold, who's already pretty weak because he's having heart problems.
Literally.
Literally,
heart
his heart
problems.
grows darker and darker every moment. And I want to talk about his heart for a little bit because I know that he's been having other people do his dark deeds so that his heart wouldn't grow darker. But just because you're not doing the dark deeds, wouldn't it still affect your heart?
intention
The
is still
intention
there,
is still
yeah.
there. So I feel like he didn't think that one through. So maybe that's why his heart is still growing.
Progressively getting
Yeah.
darker and darker.
Maybe, but and also just shows that maybe he himself is just a dark person. I mean, you take the heart out and you're just left with real human emotions. So, and we know he's just a coward as a human being. So
Yes.
maybe also just instinctively he is dark in some ways.
Right, because how much of Rumple is even really left
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
at this point?
But they did answer the question, what happens to the heart if it is fully consumed? Rumple could die.
Yes.
Gold
And
could still live, but Rumple.
that was interesting, too.
Dark
We
one
talked about that,
does.
the duality of, like, the Dark One and Rumple, and his comment about, you don't want to take on the Dark One when no one else is home, and that was fairly ominous.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm back. Feel so much better.
We're so glad.
Sometimes you just really gotta go.
We're talking about your favorite character.
Okay, let's do this.
Mr. Gold / Rumple, and the process of his heart turning darker and what the effects can be. How are you feeling about this new news?
I don't want him to go away. I don't want him to die. But when I first heard it, I thought maybe there's a chance that he can be reincarnated to something good if the dark is separated from his entity. But who knows?
We'll see.
We shall see. Well, we already know that he needs, for the ink to work, he needs the dark. He needs
Dark
Emma to
Savior
go,
blood.
dark
Yeah.
savior blood. What he wasn't thinking of, which Regina did, was that, hey, Lily's in town.
Yep.
She has Emma's
smart.
darkness inside her, so instead of turning someone dark for no reason at all,
Okay.
Turn
we can
someone?
just go grab the girl's blood who's already dark. How convenient, right?
Yeah.
It
Poor
works.
Lily. She has had it this episode.
Yeah.
Like, this episode for her is literally she has had it.
She's been kind of a brat face, though, to be fair. I mean, she's been through a lot.
totally- she's very
Totally.
good.
But she is over it.
Yeah.
Well, rightfully so. I mean,
Yeah.
she grew up longer and like, not being well aware of everyone and everything that's going on. She's endured this longer than everybody else has.
Yeah.
So. But good on Regina for being smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was
Very
nervous.
resourceful.
I was very
Yeah.
nervous because I know how Regina can get so upset and fly off the handle. And I was just so nervous that she was going to go do something stupid with Emma and piss her off or something. And I'm glad that she found a new way, an alternative solution to it. And her and the author tells her how she was his favorite person to write for, and how she really has been screwed over the most.
It was his fanboy moment.
Yes,
it was
it
like he was at Comic-Con all of a sudden.
He literally
like,
was
oh my
like,
god,
I'm a
you're
huge fan.
my favorite.
I'll do anything for you. I'm a huge fan. I would react like that too if I saw Regina, though.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't? But so she gets the ink, and then she has this great idea to go make Zelina watch her write her off the story, basically.
Which that's a little dark right there.
Very dark of Regina. I was like, oh, Regina, where are you going with this? But also, I think it's just another terrible way when antagonists. I mean, God love Regina, but she was somewhat the antagonist tonight. But don't say what you're doing. You're just ruining it, because like whenever you're explaining your whole scheme, it's never gonna go down.
No, it never does.
It always gets thwarted.
Yeah, because you
And
spend
it
too
did.
much time talking about it instead of acting
It's like,
on it.
Regina, you're awesome. Just get it done with.
Yeah.
Get it done. Well, she didn't get it done.
No.
And the author wasn't really feeling it.
Yeah.
And he was like, wait, so I don't get to write anything? Because I'm not okay with that.
No.
I finally have my ink. And he writes himself away to go meet up with the Dark One, where we see him, where we left him,
Yeah.
kind of
Just on the floor in the pawn
floor.
shop.
Oh, sorry, forgot about this part. So Regina, when she first gets the author, the picture. We have to talk about the
Oh yeah.
photo.
Yes. Yes.
So the picture of her and Robin kissing, that no one knows where it came from, and the author's like, "Where did you get that?" Oh my gosh, I was working on a different book, or a story for a different book that I never got to start really, and that's from there. So he tells Regina that means someone's looking out for her, that it just appeared. And there's forces even more powerful than him and the pin out there that are looking out for her. So what's going through you guys' mind when you hear that?
Well, I'm working on a wall-sized illustration to give to Marissa for Christmas. Sure. Maybe embossed.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? It could be anyone, and we're all speculating who could the next author be. Who is this author looking over everybody?
Is the sorcerer looking out for Regina?
Maybe it could be someone completely different that we've never met. But seemingly knowing that someone is looking out for Regina and all these people, he or she could be good. Like,
Yeah.
they're actually a good person out there.
Yeah.
Hero.
But I don't know, because we see when the author gets to gold, I think the new book he was working on,
The
it's
Blank Book
Heroes and Villains.
Very interesting book already.
Yeah.
Just by-
I like it, though. I would read that book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like the Avengers or something. Just like superheroes and
Hey, it means that there's a shot for Hercules next season.
Yes.
I'm still
Exactly.
holding out.
Let's bring
I think it
Meg
could
into
happen.
the story.
I think it could happen. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's really interesting where we'll talk about predictions more, because that preview after seeing the book,
So
Lord,
cool.
I mean,
Shiny.
we got a lot to
That's cool.
discuss.
yeah, we gonna get to that though in a little bit.
Okay.
But before we get to that, I want to talk about the other mother and daughter reuniting tonight, which was Lily and Maleficent. So Lily rolls up into Storybrooke. Everyone's like, "Hey, we're home. Oh, we're so happy." And she's like, "You're my mom. Cool."
She was not having it. She had it.
Even, I mean, regardless of what you've heard about everyone there, I don't know. In my mind, I imagined her seeing her mother for the first time after years of searching for her family and for her mom, regardless of how she got separated from her. And just having a moment of like, oh my God, like, you're my mom. Good.
Right.
Like, tears,
Yeah.
hugs.
I wasn't happy with the way she reacted upon finally meeting her mother and how she treated her as well in the coffee shop. I'm like, oh, come on. I
Yeah.
know you're upset.
She was expecting Angelina Jolie, apparently.
That didn't happen. Not that Maleficent. But also, it just shows that Lily, yes, she's so torn and scorned by all these people, and then she's just on a warpath.
Yeah.
She has one objective, and that's to get revenge.
It did give birth, though, to my favorite line of the night, was when she said to her mother, and I'm supposed to take grooming advice from Annie Hall.
So good.
Brilliant
I
line.
love
Favorite
it.
line of the night.
I love Annie Hall.
Yeah, she was expecting a dragon bitch. So she didn't get that, so she was upset about it. And I think it just really ties into showing just how much darkness there is inside of her, that it's harder for her to see the light and be happy and joyous in a moment like this, because all she sees is darkness.
And also it goes to show just how much Maleficent has changed in her actions.
Yes.
much.
Because
Yes.
we know her as just being an evil villain, but how much in all this time spent in Storybrooke and being around, I think maybe like good is rubbing off on her.
Yeah, she's
It
evolved
shows that
quite a bit.
like her objective has completely changed so well. She just wants to be with her daughter.
Yeah, she wants to look forward and everything she said. I was like,
happy.
oh, that's cool. Maleficent's being cool.
Yeah. And she even goes to David and Mary Margaret for some help.
Yes.
In getting her daughter back more. So they go off looking for her. And this is right after Regina has come and cut her hand to get her blood and then poofed away. So she's all pissed because some lady that she barely knows just came and cut her.
Cut a bitch.
Like
Literally cut a bitch.
Literally cut a bitch.
and now she's, on a warpath. She turns into a dragon.
That has Maleficent's eyes.
Yes. And Maleficent's like, oh, she looks just like me.
love it.
That was
So great.
fantastic. I was like,
hilarious.
oh, mommy pride moment.
Yes.
Right moment.
Very cute.
So she's tearing across the city, and I don't know what Mary Margaret was thinking in this moment. It actually seemed very dumb to me.
She was not thinking.
That Maleficent is walking towards her dragon daughter, and she also is a dragon, so, she could
Transform if need be to take on.
kind of take it on.
Tame her
And out
daughter.
of nowhere, Mary Margaret takes off running in front of her. Why was that a good
She's
idea?
trying-
It wasn't. I mean, I get Mary Margaret's trying to redeem herself
That's
for
pretty
everything
much
she's
it.
been doing, and
Right.
she maybe just wants one win of the day. But like literally, I wrote in my notes, what was Mary Margaret planning on doing?
I just have written down my notes.
Waving fervently to
In
try to
all
stop
caps,
her?
it just says "Snow Smackdown." That was my
She does.
Nice.
She does take a tail to the face,
boosh.
and
Well,
she,
rightfully so.
Yeah.
she didn't
Yeah.
go in there with a plan.
No,
Girl.
and she gets smacked
Sorry,
into
girl.
a rock, which would have left a much bigger scar on her head than was there.
That
Her
cute
face
little
was smashed.
prop department blood drip.
Yeah.
I love how The Rock was just so happened to be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very convenient.
Yes.
In the field with nothing else.
And it's just the right angle for her to lay on it so we can have a nice dramatic scene in a minute.
Oh, production.
But Maleficent then chases after Lily into the forest, and she calms down and she goes back into her human body, which I was glad she didn't end up naked, because I saw Avengers this weekend, so all I'm thinking is like hulking out and then coming back down
Right.
and like you're naked and afraid.
It's so true.
I mean, Lily did seem kind of freaked out a little bit, but not as freaked out as I thought she'd be, because I feel like this was the first time
Yeah, first
this would have
transformation.
happened.
Yeah.
So she was shaky, but she didn't seem as really freaked as I
Yeah.
thought for someone who just turned into a dragon for
I
the
think
first time.
she likes this
think so,
dragon
too.
thing. Yeah.
She likes the darkness. But I also thought it as maybe, because we know Lily's is very well informed. She knows everything that goes on. So I think maybe deep down inside her, she knew she had the possibility of becoming a dragon as well.
Yeah.
So when that actually happened, be like, yeah, I knew it.
I was waiting for this.
It happened.
It was eventually.
There it is.
Inevitable.
But then they do get to have a great conversation finally, or at least it seems like, where Maleficent convinces her to stay for a week here and to let her show her that dragon bitch side.
Right. So what happens in a week?
I mean,
But like, what do you think is going to happen in a week?
I think it was just like
Next week.
the lowest unit of plausible
It's just basically-
time that she could give her.
To keep her in Storybrooke for a little longer, buying time and seeing if she can change her mind.
Or she just
stay.
ups and leaves. So that's my question. Like, at the end of the week, what's going to happen? Is she going to stay in Starbucks or is she going to leave?
I hope she stays.
I think she'll end up staying, but I'm not sure if she's going to drop this whole revenge thing so quickly.
I mean, this is going into predictions, but she's a great character to go against Emma or be like her, arch nemesis.
Emma
or
number
whatever.
2.
Yeah.
Like the bad Emma.
The foil.
Yeah, she is the
Yes.
foil.
But so I guess I'm just confused too. So she's staying for a week to see how things go, but like earlier she wanted to, when she still wanted revenge, she was like, oh, but I'm gonna leave here. But if she left, she would have never gotten back in. So how does that help your cause?
Right.
Wait, one more time?
Because at the beginning,
Okay.
she wanted to leave Storybrooke.
Right.
And Maleficent told her, if you leave, you can't come back.
Right.
But
And
now,
Maleficent can't leave.
and Maleficent can't leave or else she'll die
Right.
again. But now she's willing to stay for like a week to see how it goes.
Pantsuit shopping.
Mother-daughter pantsuits. That's how they're going to
Matching
solve it.
pantsuits.
I'm sure she wants.
Hey, they
there's a
would rock
part of
it.
her that wants
They
to get
would.
to know her mom too. So obviously, a week is like, all right, I can kind of get to know if you're a dragon bitch, and then we'll see.
And then we'll go on our way. And then we have to talk about my favorite. It's over here, hookers.
I'm glad one person could sing it.
Yes, I'm all for it. I'm in support
Hookers
of
for
it.
life. We got an awesome moment tonight.
She's all beaming. I love it like the hand
I
comes
love
up.
it.
and
I'm
all-
so happy.
I will say that it was a good moment.
It was a great moment. So, Hook, first of all, he goes and gloats to Mr. Gold about how, Emma's on her way back and ha, she didn't turn dark. And then he gets Emma, and Emma totally shades her parents at the whole happy, everyone's home
Shady.
thing. The shade.
Of it all.
The shade.
The literal shade she threw at her mother, which was amazing, but it also reminded me of being like 16 again, and when your mom pisses you
Yeah.
off and you do it just to make her angry. Emma is acting like a teenager.
She is.
And
She is like a petulant 16-year-old.
yes, and I love
it's
it because
frustrating.
I love it because she never got that growing up. So
I don't love
I
it.
understand
That's
why
true.
she's going through it
She
now.
never got that adolescence.
She's 15 years late.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think.
And it does piss me off, but then I had to sit there and really think, like, character-wise, okay, I understand why it's taking her so long. She never got the chance to act out with her parents, and they just crumbled all the things that she thought of them. It's kind of like with Lily. She had this whole big picture of what her mother was going to be, and then to find out that she was less than that was so disappointing. And I think Emma's just kind of going through that right now.
Yeah, having to come to terms with that.
But thank God she has a fine man like Hook around.
Who is apparently the greatest therapist on the planet, because after a 5-minute conversation, Emma is like spewing Freud and Jung, and I'm like, okay, Hook. All right, Hook.
It's like Archie needs to watch his back.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
we got another therapist
Who needs
in town.
Archie when you've got Hook?
I have to agree with you on that, Tiona. I was like,
Yeah.
work, Hook.
He was on it.
Work.
I mean, I love that he took her to like look over the horizon, and then it's just kind of like, so you're treating your parents like crap, and you should really stop. And I think part of it has to come from his own parents. Maybe he didn't have a great relationship with them, and he's just kind of like, hey, you gotta forgive and forget and move on, or just forgive and move on. Just the main thing is you can't go on acting this way and being like this with your parents.
I agree with him.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
He's right.
I like the fact that it was him that was the one straightening her out. Because, I mean, we even saw last week's episode, Regina was trying to talk her down, but
It doesn't work so well.
it was Hook. So, yeah,
Hook?
props to Hook for finally having Emma come to her senses.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Hookers for life. Did I miss anything that you guys wanted to talk about in this episode?
I love Queen Kiss for like a second.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, oh my God, they did have a moment.
It felt inappropriate though, like in front of everybody.
I don't care. In front of everybody. Yes,
I'm like that.
Marissa does not care. It could be
shove it in
in a
Zelina's
dark alley.
Oh God.
Well, I
Made Tiona
you
choke.
almost made me spit my drink out, but
But yeah, when they're talking in the whole Zelina prison cell there, her temporary home, like it shows that they're willing to work, and Regina can be happy. She's like, yes, we're gonna work on it.
And we
may
also
not be together now, but we're gonna work on it. There's hope.
there's hope.
There is hope, and we busted that. Once again, we busted that fairy tale thing of like, because Zelina tries to throw it back at her, like, oh, so your happiness is defined by being with a man, and she's like, no, he's part of my
world.
Yes.
My happiness is being happy in my
That's
world.
because Regina's awesome. And there was a Neil mentioned, by the way, I just want to say. He's not dead yet.
Yeah, there was.
In spirit. I mean,
Yeah, but he is.
one day. One day. He'll come back in like a past memory or something.
I mean, you never know. With next week's episode,
You don't ever know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know that Blake has a little special segment for us.
Oh yes, it's time for Once Upon a Weave. We didn't have Belle tonight, which always makes me sad because her weave is my favorite. But tonight's weave honorable mention, there's two. One goes to Cora.
Yes.
Rocking
Okay.
those updos with the little clips. The second one goes to Regina's flashback updo, which was gorgeous. But then there's one like downgrade mention. Like there's one like there's one shady ratchet weave.
Ooh, whose?
Regina's side pony after Cora transforms her. I was like, what was that ratty thing hanging on her shoulder? No, ratchet weave. And she made up for it in the next scene with Once Upon a Updo. All right, that's my hair recap.
I love it.
Completely agree.
And that can take us into news and gossip.
Okay.
Let me open up my paper here. All right, so I have a lot to talk about just because Entertainment Weekly did 2 different articles where they interviewed Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz about
nice.
like questions for what we're going to see in the finale. So I've gathered the best teasers I can give
Exciting.
about next week's 2-hour finale.
Oh my goodness.
So, one, just because I keep asking this about Lily's father, will the topic of Lily's father be brought up? Yes.
Yay.
Will we find out the identity of the sorcerer? Yes. Will there be nuptials for any of our couples soon? Answer. There will be a wedding in the finale. Whether it goes through or not, you'll have to watch. What?
What?
A wedding?
A wedding? Who's getting married? Hook and Emma?
La Queen?
No.
What?
Oh my God.
Is it Belle and Will? Like, what? Who's getting married? I know it's not them.
Belle still has to go through a divorce.
Yeah.
She does.
She needs to
It's
call the
messy
breaks.
for her.
Okay, and then will anyone die, either temporarily or permanently, in the season 4 finale? Both? Yeah, decipher that one. What? I'm just gonna
They
keep
are
going like that.
toying with our emotions.
They're toying with us, right? Okay.
That
so
just
then-
sounds like a crazy season finale.
Yeah, right? It's 2 hours. So then we're going to get into the next article that had a bit longer answers for some of the spoilers. So the finale is titled Operation Mongoose. What can you tell us about this? It's a great indication of television today when it's the long one-season arc of finding the author. Regina said in the opening, "I'm going to find the author, Operation Mongoose, and make him rewrite a happy ending for me. For us, the 2-hour finale is going to be what happens when the author starts writing." So we saw a little bit of that play in tonight.
Yeah.
What role does Henry play in the finale? He plays the role of hero. You're going to see Henry step up and be called upon to finally be the hero he's always been reading about and inspiring other people to be.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm excited for this
Yes,
because Henry
absolutely.
literally came on screen for 3 seconds to hug his mom, and that was it tonight.
Yeah.
And remember when the show was kind of about him?
Yeah.
It's like, wow, like, shade.
Shade.
It's okay. He
Yeah,
still got
and
paid.
they go on to say that, it's been too long since Henry's been in front and center, and they said it's kind of like his bar mitzvah, but magically. So
buy
it's a
that.
magical bar mitzvah. Congrats.
Okay.
Mazel tov.
We got a wedding, a magical bar mitzvah.
And then they were asked how this finale compares to previous ones. And it was said, in terms of where it leaves off, it's probably more similar to season 1 in terms of how it changes the conditions of the show, as opposed to sending us off on a journey to a new land or having someone magically appear. It's a mixture of last year's finale in terms of it being a big, fun movie, and season 1 in terms of the character-based condition change.
Okay.
And I also saw something here about possibly next season having a flash forward moment in a time jump. Oh, yeah.
What?
So
Say
take
what?
that and do what you will with it, and then let's move on to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So I know everyone's predictions probably changed after all that information about what to expect.
I'm just like
I'm
in a
glad you-
standstill
yes.
right now. Like, what can I talk about?
I
It's
know,
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
So, prediction: who's getting married? Hook and Emma. Will it happen? Yes. That's
Well,
me.
I hope so, but when we saw the scenes from the coming episode, and we saw the heroes being villains and vice versa, Belle and Rumple were back together.
I was thinking that too. I
Do you
was thinking
think
maybe
we'll have a
Rumple
Belle
and
Rumple wedding,
Like,
re-wedding,
I think it's possible.
remarriage? No.
Well, they didn't say that they're gonna go through with it, but there's a wedding, so I think that might be a possibility. That's what the note said.
I like this whole. I loved the whole reversal of roles in the preview that we saw. Snow with that fireball.
Yes.
Oh yes,
I'm
it was
all in for that.
everything. That's what it was.
And she had a heart in her hand commanding people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Speaking
it
to
looked like, the way they cut it together, at least, David was the one who walked through the door after she was like, "Get in here," and I was like, "Ooh, yes,
Oh, girl.
make him your slave." But overall, I think with learning about Henry, I just feel like this is going to go more into the whole Operation Mongoose and him kind of taking leadership, and then that's how he becomes the writer. I really
author.
just see
Yeah.
this kind of coming into terms with Henry realizing what his purpose is in this world, and it's that of the writer.
I totally see him being the future writer. Like that's
Yeah.
just what he's gonna be.
What happens if Once Upon a Time, the book, has ended and we jump to heroes and villains? We're
Wow.
in the new story. Like, what if that, because the power of the pen, that could be the big conditional change at the end of the...
I
But
like
the
that.
thing with books, you can always go back to them.
That's true.
You can always reread
jump,
them.
Yeah, you can always reread them and jump back into the story.
Yeah, because
I
I
love
will say
books.
that in the preview, it looked like we saw Henry in the book and it looked like everyone was in the Enchanted Forest, but
Right.
Henry kind of looked like he was dressed in normal clothes. I have to go back and watch it
Yeah.
again because we just saw it very quickly, but I saw him there and I kind of remember thinking, wow, he's in normal clothes and everyone else is not. It looked like Emma was locked up in a tower
Yes,
going,
it did.
going batshit cray. So yeah, I'm really excited to see it. I don't know what's gonna happen though.
Yeah.
Also, I think knowing that there was a simultaneous story already going on before the Heroes and Villains book came out, I think that will come into play somehow.
Yeah.
maybe
hope so.
counteract everything that's going on in the Once book.
I just hope they don't kill off Rumple. I gotta see
Or the
this
dark
possibly
one.
happening.
Okay, question from the everyone. Thank you for commenting in YouTube. Who do you think, if they could kill the Dark One, who would be the new Dark One?
Well, actually, we mentioned this when we were
Who
watching
do
it.
you think?
Well, Blake came up with a good point.
I thought it could potentially be Emma.
Yeah. I was thinking Regina, but when he said Emma, I'm like, ooh, that's
What about Lily?
crazy one.
Well,
Okay, yeah.
Lily's in the running.
I think it's too
right now.
obvious for it to be Lily.
That
though,
was- yeah.
because she has so much darkness in her already. But then, or let's be real fun, Henry.
Oh.
But could you imagine Emma being evil? Like, that's a force to be reckoned with. Like, crap.
Yeah, but could you imagine Henry and then Regina and Emma both having to deal with the fact that their son
Yeah.
is now the Dark One?
And then Regina and Emma had to pair up again to take over their son.
Yes.
Or it could just be Snow. But then, see, obviously, no one's as excited about it, I guess. I'm like, oh.
I think we'll see that in next week's episode. Just
Yeah.
her being
Yeah,
a
we
dark
have to have
side,
a
not
moment
just the
with
dark
it.
one, just the dark side. So I don't know. Seeing Regina tonight, she kind of snapped back into her dark ways. I was like, oh, she could be a scary, evil dark one. Not that I want her to be, but she could easily take on the dark one.
We know she can do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys at home, make sure you tweet us and continue commenting on our YouTube channel and our iTunes. Make sure you give us 5 stars, comment, share, tell a friend, tell 3 friends, tell your whole family. And then to
At
make
dinner
them all-
table.
yeah, at the dinner table. Next time you're sitting around at Sunday dinner, turn on our show and make everyone watch with you. In the meantime, where can everyone find you guys on social media?
Social media, you can find me at KAORIOUS, Twitter as well as Instagram.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake McIver.
And you can follow me at Serafini TV.
You can follow me at the Tiona Hobson, at the Tiona Hobson on Twitter and Instagram. And make sure you check out AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. And we will see you guys next week for the 2-hour finale. Just so you know, we're still going to tape our show at 9 p.m. Pacific time, so don't miss it.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.